The end time. Beware, the end is near. The end of the two-party system of pretend democracy has begun. You may have noticed that the hacks in Washington, D.C. have begun a process that they call investigating campaign finances. I'm certain that in the end we'll not have learned much at all, save confirmation that privately financed campaigns are an exercise in oligarchy, not democracy. The Republicans and Democrats, aka Tweedledee and Tweedledum, have reached the point of ideological synergy. They are now, in essence, one party representing the interests of business against the rest of us. They used to pretend that they actually had substantive differences, but no more. Even the Democrats don't mind a quarter of our children living in poverty. There was a time when only the Republicans would be that mean-spirited and cruel. But the logic of the system of private profit is that there is no profit in caring for children. These ideological similarities do not mean that the two Tweedles don't still compete for votes. They do, and the competition has simply become more and more absurd as they struggle to find things to pretend to disagree about. All they have left anymore is abortion, and even there some Tweedledees support it and some Tweedledums don't. What the two corporate parties can do in the struggle for electoral superiority is call each other names and pretend to investigate abuses of power or influence. They can't really investigate because they both maintain the same level of corruption, but people are getting fed up, so they pretend. It's this pretending to investigate campaign financing that signals the beginning of the end for them. People know that the primary factor in determining electoral success is money. The one who can raise the most money wins. Most people don't even bother voting anymore because it seems like an absurd waste of their time, and they call it democracy. The investigation will, of course, be controlled so that any actual information is buried in so much fluff that no one notices it. But in the end, this very fact of acknowledging that an investigation is called for will be their undoing. It's no longer possible to pretend that our system of privately financed election is in any way similar to democracy. Democracy means rule by the people. Private financing of elections means rule by those with the most money, and we call that oligarchy. Welcome to the Middle Ages, except they all wear blue suits. And if that's not enough, the Tweedledees are claiming that the Chinese attempted to influence the 1996 elections. Any sane and reasonably well-informed person should find this to be among the most outrageous examples of hypocrisy. As you might recall, our own country has quite overtly bought a number of elections in other countries. When we do it, we don't just slip a little money to the sleazebags that serve capitalist interests. No, we go all out and flood the country in question with American money. Two instructive examples are the early post-World War II elections in Italy, where the CIA and State Department handpicked the government on the theory that Italians can't be allowed to choose their own. And now, less than 10 years ago, the State Department flooded Nicaragua with American campaign money. For the Chinese to have even come close to the level of financial corruption we had in Nicaragua, they would have to have spent $8 billion, yes, that's billion, one of Carl Sagan's billions of dollars. And thus the spectacle begins. The Tweedledums and Tweedledees will bicker with each other, fiddling as our version of Rome burns. Burn, baby, burn. The end is near. We should all prepare the fireworks, for democracy is at hand. True, they will rage and rage at the dying of their oligarchical light, but such is the movement of history. Some things are unavoidable. Delayable, perhaps, but not avoidable. We will have democracy in this country, and it will be a democracy that lives up to the promises of this great nation. One person, one vote. It's time that we, the people, take the influence of money, take the overwhelming and unjust influence of the rich out of politics. Democracy demands it, and if we can do it now, our grandchildren will thank us. For the planet cannot heal until the scourge of capitalism and its dictatorship of wealth is once and for all relegated to its rightful place on the rubbish heap of history. It is time for democracy, time for publicly funded elections. This is Richard Curtis.